All right. I watched a few car customizing shows that use tons of rock. However, these tracks are much slower than the normal upbeat rock tracks that are recommended to write for sync. Do you think it's viable to write an album of this style considering how much it gets used? Potentially, as long as you go find a library that's serving that kind of a client, right? So, what I wouldn't do is this is a great question. I'm really glad you asked it. If you're watching TV and you hear a style of music, you're like, man, I keep hearing this style of music. The unwise thing to do is to just go make that music, right? And go like, well, it's on TV, so I'm gonna just go make a bunch of it. So you go spend, a month or two, you make a whole album or a couple of albums of this style of music because you see it on TV. Then it's like, oh, okay, well now who am I gonna send it to? And now you're in the process of trying to find a library that has that particular style and also has those particular clients, right? So whatever this, car restoration show is. So if you can't find that library, after you've created the music, well, now you got a big pile of maybe unlicensable music that's not really ready. So we're kind of doing the process backwards there. What I say is do your research first. You guys in Sync Edge get that advantage because you guys get to go look for libraries before you even create your music. And I actually do believe that is a smarter way to do this. In the past, I kind of gave this sort of like, well, you can go either way. You can either do your research first, then create the music, or just create the music and then try to find the library. Now as I've been doing this longer, I'm like, it's obvious that there's one correct answer for that. And it's do the research first. Find the library, see the clients, right? Listen to the type of music that's getting placed. Find that little niche that you feel like I could do well with this kind of library, with those kind of clients. And I see there's a lot of potential here with my music. Then go craft your music. And the reason why that's smarter is because now you don't have to search for where you're going to pitch it to. And you have reference tracks directly from the source of the library you're going to submit to. What better place to find high quality music that you should be as good as or better to ensure your chances of getting accepted by them, right? So you can see like this is the smarter, most common sense way to increase your odds of doing better. So you go create your music, and that's what we do obviously with Sync Academy, and you can watch tutorials, you can get some feedback, or if you want to get professional feedback, we have pro feedback. So we have all those services to help you craft up a really highly licensable product. Once it's ready, 10 to 12 tracks usually, then you go right back to that library and go, cool, I've done the research, I'm submitting right to you. So it's never a guarantee that they're going to say yes to you, but I think you can just feel how much more, how higher the odds are, how much more the odds are in your favor. But when you do this specific human research based approach, now if they say no, it sucks. I mean, that's part of this business. Sometimes people just say no. Is it because our music wasn't there? Is it because they just weren't in a position? They didn't have the time to take on a new composer. Sometimes it's hard to tell because their response to us can be very vague, and it could be a general template sort of, thank you, we really appreciate your music. We think you have a lot of talent to offer. However, at this time, we don't feel like it's a right fit for our catalog, right? Those kind of responses, what does that really mean? I don't know. I don't think we can mind read. But I will say that probably 9 times out of 10, if you're getting a no from a library, it's probably because you could be doing more with your music, right? You could be stepping up your production value a little bit. You could be doing a little better to really impress the people that you're going to be submitting your music to. So try to always focus on, rather than like all the frustration of like, why didn't they, and why couldn't, and what's their big deal, and what's their excuse, and why couldn't they give me feedback, and all the stuff that's out of our control. Rather than torturing yourself with all that nonsense, kind of get your focus back on yourself. Okay, what could I make this stronger? Actually, could I make these tracks a little bit more licensable? Could I make this more focused? Could I improve my sound qualities? Whatever you can like look at and say. And if you don't know, get some feedback. Try to get some feedback to say like, is there something that you're hearing that maybe my ears just don't hear? And that's very possible, because as we develop in this business, our ears get better and better and better. And at the beginning phases, sometimes we don't hear things that need to be fixed. It takes a lot of experience before we start to hear the obvious problems that were sort of blind to us before. But yeah, I think that's really what we want to do. Is we want to do our research first, get the product, and then pitch it to them in a really smart and more targeted way, for sure.